Thank you for stopping by. Welcome to my channel, Pirmais Latvietis Uz Mēness, translation First Latvian on the Moon. So this one is unusual one, trust me, for me and you, because you are in Latvian channel and Latvian podcast. However, today's episode is going to be in English. Why? Because my guest mainly speaks in English. She born in Latvia, she grew up in UK. Now she's in Mexico. Arriba! Why? You will know it a bit later. But yeah, absolutely my pleasure to talk to her. I was like, you know what? If we having issues to talk in Latvian, let's just switch to English, and it was amazing. And she told such amazing stories. She is so inspiring. She literally went through hell in her lifetime, but she is absolutely crazy successful right now, living her best life. I mean, obviously there is a background story, what happened, how who impacted her, where she's right now, all that stuff. But I'm telling you, this story is worth to listen, worth to watch, because we both are so pretty. Anyways, thank you very much, and let's just jump into it. Hey.
Всем привет! Welcome to my kitchen and to my wonderful show, AllasYummyFood. I'm Alla, the host of the show. Hi everyone! Всем привет! Добро пожаловать! Labdien! Welcome to my channel. I'm Alla, the host of AllasYummyFood channel. Hi everyone! Всем привет! Welcome to AllasYummyFood and to my wonderful kitchen. Today I'm going to show you one of the most requested cakes ever. It's a Latvian traditional cake called Alla Driksne, and I'm so excited to have you here today. I've been working a lot and prepared this incredible recipe for you. If you love raspberries and you like marshmallows and zephyr, zephyr is a Russian dessert which is a cross between marshmallow and meringue. It's kind of a combination of both, and I love it so much. I grew up on it, and this today is going to be more advanced flavor. We're going to be making it with raspberry filling, cheeky raspberry filling that's going to be hidden inside, and the flavors literally burst in your mouth. I absolutely love it, and I can't wait for you to try it as well. Now guys, if you want access to all my recipes, including this one, you can become a member today by just signing up. I will leave all the links down below in my description box, and join others in cooking with me. Now let's get started.
Hey, Alla, how are you doing?
I am good, thank you very much.
So you are in Mexico, right?
I am right now, yes. I decided to move.
Well, that's absolutely amazing and mind-blowing. And I went through all your social media, and I saw some posts, and I definitely want to talk to you about that. But give me a little background story. So where are you coming from in Latvia, and then you moved to UK and now to Mexico? But just something from beginning, how it all started.
Of course. So I am originally from Daugavpils. I was born in Daugavpils.
Yeah.
Nu, es šito varu latviski, tāpēc, ka tu paskaidrot vieglāk.
Okay.
Es biju Daugavpilī, un tad ap kādiem 10 gadiem mēs ar mammu un manu māsu aizbraucam dzīvot uz Rīgu. Un tad 14 gados mani aizsūtīja uz Angliju vienu mācīties skolā.
Okay.
Un tur es paliku principā. Jā.
Kāpēc tās decisions, lai tevi 14 gados uz Angliju?
Es tagad arī nezinu, bet viņi vienkārši domāja, ka tur būtu labāka education, un es iemācīšu angļu valodu, un man tur būs daudz vairāk opportunities.
Opportunities, iespējas, yeah. Easy
Iespējas,
peasy,
yeah.
switch to English, because when you are in England, I know you're going to think in English.
Yeah.
So,
So
and your sister, she stayed in Latvia.
she did for the first 2 years, and then
Okay.
she joined me in Latvia. Yes.
In England.
And then, sorry, in England. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And where did you stay in
sorry.
England? With who you stayed, and what school did you went to? Which city?
Yeah, so the first year I stayed in like a boarding school, which is like with all the other international students, and
Okay.
it was really horrible.
Why?
I think for me, you know, I used to live with my mom. I was free, you know, I'd go to school, I'd come home, I'd watch a cartoon and then do my homework. And there it was like a military, you know, like this is when you wake up, this is when you eat, this is when you go to school. You couldn't leave outside of the house. Like if you wanted to go, like, I don't know, to a shop, you had to sign, you had to have a person going with you. It was super, super strict. School, it was Catholic school. I had to wear uniform. I had to go to church every day. You had so many rules, no makeup.
Thing is that I always actually wanted to talk with someone a bit deeper how it is to, you know, to come from boarding school, because I'm just hearing loads of people from UK. It's kind of a norm, but for us, you know, outsiders, It's not a norm. But it's amazing that you actually experience that, and it sounds like films.
It does. I think it looks better in the films.
Of course.
Or maybe also, you know, I was 14. I think now I see a different way. Like I understand why they did everything. But it was tough. It was tough. You know, you could wear no makeup. Your hair needs to be in a ponytail. All the girls need to stay away, like now, 5 meters away from the boys. You know, things like that. And it was hard for me. And obviously I didn't speak English. So for me, it was really, really stressful. They placed me actually in a year below because my English was, non-existent at the time. And I was like the oldest child. And I was like, I don't want to be in this, like, you know how you are, like, it's already uncomfortable. And then they place you like you're like, you know, not so clever into like a younger age. So I just studied a lot. I had a private tutor for English. And then in about, 6 months, a year, that's when I started to, speak more fluently, and they transferred me back to my age. But it was really, really difficult. Like, I cried every day for 6 months.
I can imagine. Yeah. 100%. I can totally get you. Like, listen, in this podcast, I'm talking with loads of people who moved to somewhere else, and loads of them actually started to study somewhere. That's how, it's kind of how their journey started, including me. I moved from I moved from Latvia to UK to London to study. However, all difference to use that you actually went through the nightmare, because it was your teenage years and you are not like really adult yet. You still are struggling with your self-confidence, and all that stuff. And it's mental, because I remember even myself in university, I went through the same things. I also was one of the oldest because, while I was switching from Latvia to UK, I already, postponed some things. And I remember feeling that way. And for you, 14 years old and going through all this stuff, my God.
Yeah, it was tricky. I don't think my parents really realized at the time. I think they really wanted, to have me, I guess, educated, and they gave all their last money to send me there, because, it was expensive back in the day. And even now it's still, I think it's quite expensive. Unfortunately, I was not like a good child, I guess. There, I used to get in trouble, I used to break the rules. I constantly go into the head office because I was like, I don't want to wear this stuff, and it was difficult, and then I think it took me about 2 years to really get into everything, but it was like the food was different. Imagine, our Latvian food, homemade stuff, and then I had to eat these sausages and beans there, and I was just like, I don't want to eat that for breakfast. Like, what?
Exactly.
Yeah, it was like, as you can imagine, it was a huge cultural shock. It was a huge language shock. Like, friends, no family. you know, back thinking about it now, I think that was a crazy decision to do. But you know, I am who I am now, and I think it's made me a really kind of independent, strong person. Would I do it again? Probably not.
Yeah, of course not. But at the same time, you know, now when you kind of gave me that your beginner story, I'm just feeling like, you know what, it all makes sense. Obviously, we're gonna jump into that because Alla is very successful chef and how you call it, baker, cooker, and business owner, and she does so many things. And it's funny that you do it so well. Same time, you're kind of breaking the rules. You're not going, you know, in a, I don't know, typical famous chef style. You are actually presenting Latvian and Russian dishes, you know, Latvian and Russian recipes to world, and you're selling it very, very well, which is absolutely amazing. So, and you're already breaking the rules because you abandoned UK, now you're in Mexico, which I love.
I don't like rules. I think it's all happened when I left. You know, I was like, no.
No way. Yeah. I can see that. I can see that your personality is very fiery. So I'm like, yes, I love people like that. Absolutely. So yeah, and which city you were? Where was your boarding school?
Yeah, so it was in Kent, in Rochester. So it's like a really small, lovely town, very, very tiny town with a castle. Actually, really beautiful. I should probably go visit again.
Okay.
But yeah, and you know, I had a lot of pressure on me, I think, you know, to learn the language, to do well in school. Like, imagine learning physics when you're 14 in English, when you don't even speak English, let alone learning all the science. So I did struggle a lot. And I think as I kind of grew up, you know, later, so I only lasted 1 year in boarding school because I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah. So where did you move next?
So they moved me in with a guardian, like an older person, like a, you know, like a parent guardian type of thing.
Okay.
So, and it was okay, you know, it was better because I had more freedom, but she was like lovely old lady, but she was very grumpy, very English. And for me, it was hard because, you know, in Latvia and generally, you know, everyone's really kind, like gives you lots of hugs and family, you know, like I was so used to my mom's love and my grandma's and everything. There was just like, here's your toast for breakfast, cereal, see you later, you know.
Oh my God.
It was another challenge for me. But she and also I think she, like, now I understand in my older mind, but she lost her husband 2 years ago. She was very moody and grumpy. So it wasn't me, but I took it personally. I was like, I don't make her happy, you know.
Get it.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So what, she was like helping you to, she was also educating you?
No. So she just cooked food and drove me to school and back. So that was her job, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I never hear things like that. I mean, I hear it, but I didn't know how exactly it works, you know? So who is your legal guardian? So what does it mean? So basically it's her job to take care of you, but she's actually not your teacher or mother, right?
No, yeah, just to take care of you, I guess, like feed you, wash your clothes, and do all that stuff, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. And so what happened after?
Well, after I don't know if you know, but I lost my mom when I was 16. She was tragically killed, actually, in Latvia. So it was actually all over the newspapers. It happened 16 years ago now, so a long time ago. I can talk about it, so don't worry. But yeah, so she so she died. And you know, it was a really difficult time. Obviously, my sister just came to UK in September, and I've been there for 2 years. So I was 16, my sister was 14, and my mom was killed in October. So our grandma, her mom, moved to London to look after us. So that for the next 2 years, we lived in, like, we just rented like a little flat and we lived together, and she, you know, looked after us. She was amazing.
Wow.
You know, she kind of raised us.
Yeah. Oh, you're giving me goosebumps right now. So what do you mean, like, it was all over the news? So some stranger killed her? Oh.
No, so she used to rent flats in Riga. She was a real estate agent, and she rented a flat in Istanbul. If you probably Google it, you'll find a lot of stuff on it. I don't Google it because I'm not allowed anymore, but it gives me like anxiety, obviously. But Yeah, so she used to rent a flat to this guy who was, I don't know, dodgy, like weird, and he hasn't paid rent for months. And apparently he called her like Wednesday night, said that he left a lot of money in a post. And when she went there was a bomb inside the post, but it was meant for this guy, not for her. But he used her as a tester in case there was something there, because he was illegal. He had like, they found like 5 passports. I know it all sounds crazy, but they found 5 passports in the flat. Anyway, so she obviously died immediately, and it was like 3 blocks of flats. No one else died, but a lot of people got injured. Like it was all over news, TV, newspapers. It was like some serious like bombing attack, which doesn't happen right in Latvia.
No, so, not at all. It's something unusual to us. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So it's just they still haven't found this person.
Really?
It's still an open case. Yeah.
My God.
Yeah. He had like 5 or 6
Latvia.
passports.
Yeah.
He wasn't actually Latvian. He was from Russia.
Right.
Interestingly enough. But
yeah. Well, that's so sad. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's been really difficult, but I'm okay. You know, now it took me a long time to accept it, but I think, you know, she would want me to be happy. So I'm trying to
100%,
kind of, you know.
and she's always with you. That's the main thing. And honestly, I'm so glad to talk to you, because I think even now hearing your story, I can see why you are who you are. You know, you're such a inspiring human being, you know, so this is absolutely, you're already doing very, very well in your life. So thumbs up.
Thank you.
And then have you ever moved to London or never, or you just always stayed in Kent?
Yes, I have. No, so I lived there until I was 18. So I finished school. I got into the best university in the world in UK, in London School of Economics.
There we go.
It was, again, I don't know, I guess like I wanted to impress like my dad and my mom back at the time, because I was like, well, they did send me here, I have to prove myself. So it was really difficult as well. I was only 1 out of like 3 students that got into Oxford, Cambridge, or LSE, because these are like the top universities.
At 14 years old, having absolutely crazy time, and now you are getting into the best university in the world. What the heck, Alla?
Love
it.
I know it was, yeah, it was, you know, it was definitely crazy. And obviously I wasn't even English speaking person. So like people were not impressed, like English people, students, because they were like, how the hell is this possible? Yeah, so I moved to London when I was 18 by myself. And I lived again in like a boarding house for a year. And then after that, yeah, I moved in with my friends, you know, how it goes, you know, you live a year in halls, and then you move out and you live in like university campuses and stuff like that. So but I have the best memories, you know, with London. Really? I was like you know, I met all my friends that are still now in halls the first year, so we all stayed friends to this day. It's been like, God, it's been like 11 years or 12, I don't even know anymore. Yeah, and it was just a lot of studying. It was difficult, but it was also a lot of like, you know, new life, partying, going out every day,
enjoying the study time. Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. So what exactly you studied? You studied like economics, and what is it, like a business related subject?
Yeah, so I did management and economics. So it was about, yeah, like HR management, and you always had to have an economics module in whatever you were doing, because it's London School of Economics. Yeah, so that was my degree. The first year was okay, it wasn't too crazy. And everyone who went to LSE, it was insane, because, you know, I thought I did really well, but then you met people who like spoke 6 languages. You know, the level there was like much higher, so that actually, even though I did get into LSE, I felt really, really not clever there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Obviously, because you're around probably some of the best, you know, and some people who are, you said, like 6 languages, you know.
Yeah.
Dexter,
like that was the
Japan
standard. Like, honestly, it's like, you know, and I spoke obviously Russian, Latvian, English, and I was like, you know, and I spoke German as well, because back then, you know, I was studying German, and quite well back then. I don't speak anymore that well, and you know, and I was like, and then people are like, yeah, I speak 6 languages. Like, what?
Mental.
So and a lot of people had their own businesses already. So it was a much higher level of, I guess, like environment that you were in, which was good in a way.
Yeah.
But it also made me always feel like I'm not good enough. I know it sounds weird, but that's the feeling I've had for a while, in that environment. And then second year of university was really difficult. Like I had to study a lot, and the third year was a killer. Like I didn't even go out much anymore. So
wow.
yeah.
But you finished it well, and all successful.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, if I managed to get into the best university, I had to get 2-1 at least. Like for me, that was important. 2-1 is like, I don't know, in Latvian, maybe if people don't know what it is, it's like, you graduate with like 70% honors, right?
Yeah,
first is like 90 or
love
whatever.
It, absolutely. Smashing it. And so drive us further. So what happens after university?
So well, during university, actually, that's when I started baking a little bit for my friends.
There you go.
Okay. Obviously, I was still in I'm going to be honest, I wasn't in a good place. Losing my mom, of course, was really hard for me. So
sure.
I did used to get drunk and then cry a lot. And I think, that was my way to get out these like negative emotions out. So then I started baking, and I realized it's doing the same thing kind of. It took me to a place where I didn't have to think, like I wasn't so stressed. I was just like in this fascinating world of mixing and matching ingredients, right? But it wasn't like even a big deal then. It was just like, I would make some brownies, and I got popular by my triple chocolate brownies. That's what I was known for in university. But I never really thought about it much. It was just fun. And I had a lot of jobs. I used to work in Wetherspoons.
Oh, there you go. Love it.
I used to work as a masseuse in the evenings. So I used to have like 3 jobs because I needed to pay rent and stuff like that. So my dad helped me through university. But then after, I think around when I was 20, he stopped giving me any money at all. So I had to kind of survive, and you
grow
can
up.
imagine it was really difficult. Grow up, yeah. So I had a bunch of jobs, and then after university, when I graduated, financial crisis hit, so nobody could find a job. Even though I graduated from LSE, spoke 4 languages, I could not find a job. You won't even believe it. It's crazy, right? So I went back to Latvia, and I lived in Latvia. Yeah, I lived in Latvia for 9 months. I worked in Deloitte in tax. Really random.
Oh wow. Where, in Riga?
Yes, in Riga. Yeah. So but again, it was really difficult for me mentally because I lived in a flat where I grew up with my mom. So I think I had like quite a strong depression there because I had to leave all my friends and go back to Latvia, and it was just not I found it really difficult.
Did you made any friends during the time?
Yeah, I met like 2 friends I made at my work, and we just hang out, so it was fine. It was better after 6 months. But still, it's just I realized it wasn't for me. And then really random an opportunity came through like my dad's friends to work in Thailand. I have a really weird life.
That's amazing. I love it.
I live there, right? And work in property. So I didn't think about it. I was like, I'm leaving. So I left, and I spent 6 months living in Thailand, working in real estate.
What? And how was that?
Yeah, you know what? It was amazing lifestyle, right? Everything was paid for you. Like you had a pool. You literally worked 3 hours a day. I'm not even exaggerating.
Really? How come?
They are like extremely on different time zones there. Like, you have a meeting at 10, you come there at 10, nobody comes till 1. It's like, what? So at first for me, it was really difficult. Like I used to get annoyed because I'd be like, why are you wasting my time? But then I realized that's just the way they work there. They don't really, it's like really opposite from London, even from Latvia. It's like extremely, I don't want to say lazy, but it's like, it's the heat. I don't know. But it was just like, so yeah, I was working like 4 hours a day because I couldn't really do anything, like that was it. Everyone left at like, they came.
Yeah. Do you want me to say that, for example, like if you work the same job in Latvia, you would get So basically the payment is exactly the same in Latvia and in Thailand, but only in Thailand you need to work 3 hours per day, but in Latvia 9 hours per day. Is that would be a case?
Everyone's gonna move to Thailand now.
Yes.
So I was getting paid 600 euros a month,
Not
but everything
bad.
was paid for. I had a driver, I had a accommodation, and that's it. Obviously, food I had to buy, but I mean that was pretty good. Like I didn't really spend that much money. I mean, I spend a lot on food and massages because massages there are like 5 euros for an hour, and they're
Love
like
it.
really good. But I did start to get a bit like lonely because after a while I didn't really have any friends there because everyone was like quite old there, like a lot older, right? Like in their 50s,
Yeah.
with families. So it was challenging for me. And also I also realized my English was getting worse because when you live in Thailand, you speak Thai English. If you don't know what that means, it's like you speak very basic, simple English so they understand you.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah, so you say like, you want food, good food, okay. So you have to talk like that.
no.
Or like, please taxi now. You know, it's like because they don't speak, you know, like we speak here.
I know that, but it's kind of like maybe in professional environment they kind of have to speak professional English.
I mean, it's like, you know, there were some British people there that I communicated to, so they were fine. But still, you know, when you live somewhere, you just pick it up. So I started talking in this like weird broken English. I swear it got worse. So I was lonely there, and I had no friends, and the lifestyle was amazing, but I did start to get like very bored and lonely. And then in summer, I went to my sister's graduation because she was graduating, you know, LSE as well. She actually also going to LSE.
Oh, wow, good. Power sisters, love it.
Following my steps, but it's okay.
Love it.
And then, again, really random story. I stayed with my friend in her flat, and in the morning, a real estate agent came over to evaluate her flat because she wanted to rent it out. And we started talking, and I was like, oh, I really want to come back to London. You know, and he's like, well, are you looking for a job? And I was like, maybe. And he's like, come for an interview tomorrow. Because I told him I'm doing real estate in Thailand.
Right.
So I go there next morning, do the interview, and they offer me the job. And I'm like, I'm moving back to London.
To London. Cha-ching.
Yeah, and the salary was really low. It's like 16,000 a year, right? You can imagine if you've lived in London, it's like accommodation is about 1,000 a month.
Of course. Oh my God, how come? What was it legal at that time to have such a low salary?
I think so. Yeah, so it's like a base, and then every time you rent an apartment, you get like a percentage, you know, £200 extra.
Right.
But now, you know, I really wanted to come back, so I didn't even care. I was just like, I'm back. And I didn't know what the job exactly was, because what I was doing in Thailand was much higher end. How to say it? Like, I don't want to make it sound like that if you're doing real estate job, it's lower end, but it was a much higher demand work than what I did in London. I mean, after 6 months, I've learned everything about the job. I got bored. So then I was looking for new opportunities. I went into recruitment. After recruitment, I didn't like it after 6 months again. So I moved to Hayes, which is like a bigger company. So yeah, I literally moved a lot of the jobs.
I love it. Enjoying, like exploring it all. And that's how you learn, didn't you?
I think so, yeah. And I think, you know, like I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy, obviously, for many other reasons, but I also wasn't happy with what I was doing. You know, I was completely lost in life. Like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, I was about to ask you, probably during the time you also didn't realize exactly what you want to do, don't you? That's why you were like changing constantly. Right.
Yes. And I think, you know, if anyone's listening and is, you know, in the age group where they still don't know what to do or they haven't found that kind of purpose, I didn't find it either for a very long time. But what I was doing, and I'm realizing now, I just kept changing. So I gave it 6 months. If I didn't like it, I'm going to move, you know, try a new job, try a new opportunity. You know, I even worked in charity, like after that, like, obviously I feel like I tried everything, right? So yeah, it was really, really didn't know what I'm doing with my life, honestly. Had like a full-on crisis.
Yeah.
Rent needs paying in London. You make like really not a lot of money, and
The
it's
snowball
tough.
effect.
Yeah, it was tough. Oh, I'm just gonna change my leg.
Easy peasy.
And then I was like completely, actually, probably in the lowest point of my life. I was extremely depressed. I just broke up with my boyfriend that I was
Ooh.
completely in love with, and he lived in Belgium, and we used to do long distance.
Right.
And like I was just like hating my job. I was making all sorts of excuses, like why I'm not coming to work today. I've used them all. My stomach hurts. I had food poisoning.
Period forever.
And I think they were gonna fire me anyway because we had a lot of fights. As you can imagine, like if I don't like something, I say it. It's also in our culture anyway, but like
say it how you feel, say it.
In recruitment, they're like, or any job in London in generally, the demand is so high that want you to work 24/7, have no life and just work. And in my contract it said that I have 1 hour lunch break, and my hours finish at 6 p.m. So that's exactly what I did. I would go out for a walk or like to the park, have my 1 hour lunch.
Yes.
And then finish work at 6. I start at 8, I finish at 6. So the manager started having go with me like, Alla, we've noticed you're taking 1 hour lunch breaks. That's
but it's
like
in your contract.
Not okay. I know, right? Well, that's what I was saying. They're like, yeah, but everyone else is eating at their desk in 5 minutes, and it's just like, it just looks bad. And it's like, we've noticed you leaving work at 6, everyone else staying until 8. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm fast. I got my stuff done, and I've got life. I've got things to do. I don't want to sit here all day.
And if they want you to be productive, you need to have at least the time for yourself, just to switch off of the desk.
Yeah. And like, I think for me, it's like, it was just constant like control, like what I can do, what I can't do, when can I take the holidays, and like what's like, sometimes for me, I'm very like sensitive person in a sense that, if I wake up and I'm feeling in a weird mood, I don't want to work. Like, I just can't do it. And then the next day I might be okay, and I might get so much done that I could have done in 3 days, like, so I really wasn't happy. And so I remember this day because I went for lunch with my one of my good friends from university. He was working for Goldman Sachs at the time. Again, LSE, 10 languages, whatever.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm just so depressed. I was genuinely really depressed. And he's like, well, what do you like to do? What do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, maybe cooking, but that's not a real job. And he was like, well, why don't you start writing a blog, about recipes? And I was like, I don't know. So anyway, we had a long chat about this. And then I thought, you know what, maybe I should do a video. He's like, yeah, just do a video.
Hi everyone, всем привет! Welcome to AllasYummyFood and to my wonderful kitchen. Today I'm going to show you one of the most requested cakes ever. It's a Latvian traditional cake called cielavina. And cielavina, basically, it's a hazelnut meringue with delicious chocolate cream topped with more hazelnuts and cream. And it's so good, guys. I've never had a cake like this before anywhere else. So if you like meringue and you like chocolate, this is a top winner. And you have to make it because it's so easy. And it's just really close to my heart because this cake is something that I grew up on in Latvia.
So I went back home that weekend and I was trying to research, has anyone done Latvian food in English language? Is there any way? Do people even know what Latvian food is? Like, have people even tried it? Like, it's amazing.
Exactly.
That's how I felt. I was like, how are people living here don't even know what it is? So that's how I got motivated. And nobody was doing Latvian food in English language or Russian food in that sense as well, because we're so close and foods across Poland, Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, all of that. And yeah, I just filmed a video that same weekend on my phone. It was terrible. I kept that video on my YouTube to remind myself that's where I started. And if anyone is interested, you can always go to my YouTube.
Let's go to Alla's YouTube channel to see her first video. I love it. How old you
And
were when you were doing it?
so I was 25. That's when I
Okay.
decided, that's it. And basically, you know what I did? So I filmed that video on a weekend. I opened a YouTube account. I came to work on Monday and I was like, I quit.
Love
That's
it.
it.
Yes.
And everyone was like, you're crazy. Like, you have no job. How are you gonna? And I honestly didn't know what I was thinking, but I was so unhappy. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this a year. If it doesn't work out, I can always go back to the corporate world. I can always go back and do an office job again. And so I started working 5 jobs. I went to work in catering company. Then I worked with a little bit with chefs. And then I decided to get a second education as a professional chef because I thought if I'm going to go into this industry, I should probably have qualifications too.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah.
thought. So yeah, and then the next kind of 3 years, that's what I was doing. I was lucky at the time because I met someone else, like my other boyfriend, another ex-boyfriend.
Here we
And
go.
he and he was really, really supportive. I lived with him. We moved in after 2 months of dating, which is very soon, right?
Mhm.
I would not recommend doing this unless you're in a crazy
Relationship advice.
situation.
Hello. Yeah.
But he was really supportive. He helped, like he paid most of the rent. As you can imagine, rent is probably one of the most expensive things in London. So
Mhm.
he really supported me throughout that period. So I'm really, really grateful, of course, to everyone in my life that came,
Sure,
and
of
helped me
course.
out as well. Yeah, I just kind of kept moving different industries because I wasn't sure. I knew that I tried to work in a kitchen. And again, it wasn't for me because, the hourly rate was £6 an hour and you have to work weekends and 16-hour days, right? So I was like, this is not what I want, and I was doing my YouTube on the side every weekend. It was like, that was it. There was like filming my YouTube videos. And during the week, I was working other jobs.
Mhm.
So it was very, very intense. For anyone who's going to start anything working for themselves, it's a real commitment and it's a sacrifice. I didn't go out anymore. I didn't see friends. Every weekend it was working on my side hustle, as you say,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
But it was growing. It took me 1 year to reach 1,000 YouTube subscribers. 1 year.
I get
And
you. I can feel you. I'm in the similar shoes now. I mean, I'm doing podcasts and everything, but I can see how slowly it all goes. I kind of felt, we're living in wire world. It's just gonna go like this, But you need to, work with people for a really long time to actually show that it's gonna be serious. So you actually
yes,
gained 1,000 followers in 1 year.
yes,
That's crazy,
yes.
isn't it?
I mean, it did for me. It was back then, but now thinking about it, it's really hard, and it was really hard, getting these people. I was always working, so I'll be working on the site, like as in doing catering jobs. I also, I managed to get into the best catering company, Alison Price, that caters for the Queen and for the
Ooh.
Olympics.
Ooh.
So I learned from like the top chefs, everything,
Sweet.
like I learned even more. And then I also got a job as a consultant. So basically I had like 3 or 4 jobs, like they were all part-time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but I was enjoying it. I was so passionate. I still am passionate, just in a different way. I just had this dream. I was like thinking, I'm going to reach a certain amount of number. I'm going to teach people about Latvian, Russian food, Baltic food.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to like rule the world. That's how I felt.
Absolutely. I love it.
But 3 years down the line, like my following was growing, but nothing was happening. Like, it's not like, for some reason, similarly, people, when they come to me, they that's the vision they have, because they watch a couple of videos on YouTube with very successful YouTubers, thinking that you can make money online, by just posting videos. And that's what I thought as well. I thought, okay, when I reach maybe like 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to be making £1,000 a month, and then I can pay my rent, and I can quit my other 4 jobs. Unfortunately, that never happened.
Really? But this is the thing, you're just gonna break the news now, which I love, because we all living in this bubble. But that's the thing,
Yeah.
Alla. Problem is that when we're going to YouTube and we're watching these successful people's stories, loads of them actually say when you get your 10,000 followers, you actually get paid very good money. And it's just like,
Yeah.
well, how come yes and how come not?
Yeah. It's a really good point. Exactly. I don't know. I think the only YouTubers that make a lot of money are the ones that have millions of subscribers and like loads of thousand views per day, not like a month or year. Like
Right.
I'm getting about 300K views a month. You would think that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
And that was equaling to $300, $300 to $500 a month.
Wow.
So for me to make even £1,000, which would be like $1,500, I would have to be getting like 1 million views a month or something like that. It's a lot. It's a lot more than people think. And now I think it's even worse. Like, I'm sorry to say, this was like 6 years ago. So for people to really make money on YouTube, I wouldn't say you can anymore. Like, you can, I mean, I don't want to say you can never, you can, but you just have to be aware that YouTube is more used as a platform now for you to show who you are, your personality, maybe talk about other products that you offer. And if people like you, they might go and buy something from you. And that's how I see it now. It's like you give maybe some value to them, and then they will maybe buy something from you. Right.
So it's basically a tool how to make money, but it's not necessarily like, oh, I'm just gonna post and I'm gonna make money. It's more like you promoting yourself, people see it, and then maybe you will get some connections and links and all that stuff.
Even that, there's so much out there, and I was kind of hoping, I was still hoping for many years, like, someone's gonna notice me. Someone's gonna know. You always have this feeling because you're working so much. You're working so hard. So I was doing 16-hour days for about 3 years straight, like literally like a lot of work, working like day and night. My relationship got worse because of that as well, because it was like a priority was my work, but it's just I was so focused on trying to get somewhere, and so it was really hard for me to keep relationships as I worked so much.
Yeah, totally.
I also kind of kept thinking like, oh, eventually I'm gonna reach that point where I'm not gonna have to work that much, like it will get easier, and that point didn't ever happen. But I will get into it. I'll get into each change.
Okay. Yeah.
So the point is, anyway, after 5 years of doing YouTube and all the jobs, I always tried new things. So, I started doing catering myself. I did weddings. I sold cakes. I did supper clubs. I was like, okay, I need to start thinking outside the box. How else can I make money by offering what I actually already do? So I did a lot. I've tried everything, and I think maybe even too much. I think if anyone's listening here and finding it useful, I would recommend to focus on one thing at a time, especially if you're passionate about it. Like, it's just, I think my personality is I get bored so easily, and if it doesn't work, I'm like, okay, I'm moving next.
Yeah.
And I've only just learned this lesson now, and it's been 7 years, and I'm doing really well now only because I'm focusing on that thing. So whatever passion you're into, just focus on that. It takes time, but it will kind of come through. When you change from this and that and that, you don't give it enough time to get
100%.
You want. So that's one of the most valuable sort of advices I can give to anyone.
Which is so interesting. Yeah. Same time, it kind of feels like when you opening a business, you kind of need to be so wide and open with loads of things, but at the same time, you're so right. You need to, as much as possible, stay in focus only for one thing. So how exactly you would describe it? Like, what was your one thing? Was it your website and your online classes, or what was that one thing you were focusing on?
Well, I wasn't focusing on one thing. I was doing everything, right? Like everything. But after 5 years, I hit a point where I had this other dip, like depression. I was like, why am I doing this? Like, what is the actual point? Like I wasn't doing this to get the followers, I was doing it to kind of, I guess, tell people about the food. I was excited no one was doing it. Also enjoyed cooking. And I also wanted some sort of sense of security that I can pay my rent. To be honest, my rent pay was my biggest motivation. I wanted to make money so I can pay my rent and I can just relax, right? Because I think renting in London is just one of those expenses that is insane.
Mental.
So, and and after 5 years, I still was in this like stressful like position, and I was gonna give up. I was like, I just don't see a point. Like, what is like, and I've had these ups and downs every single year. It would happen at least twice. So it's not like it's just happened once in 5 years. It happened every year. You doubt yourself. You're not sure what you're doing. You're not sure where you're going. You're not sure if anyone even wants this stuff. But the 5-year mark was a crisis for me, right? But I think, I'm very lucky to have like my family, like my sisters, my biggest supporter, and my friends, like my close friends. And yeah, she just said, just keep going. It will get easier. I spoke to my dad as well, and he said, it takes about 10 years on average for anything to be successful. And that kind of stuck with me, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it another year. And every year I was like, I'm gonna give it another year. And now I'm 7 years into 7 years into my business, online and everything, and I can say that finally I am at a stage where I can pay my rent. And I'm not stressing out about money anymore as much as I did before, and I just feel more confident, more focused. I know what I'm offering. I finally found that kind of niche. I don't know how to explain it, but it took me 7 years.
It's mental, but I love it. I love your passion about it. And I was about to ask you, like, because you started with like Latvian and Russian dishes, how was it? How was the process educating like English speaking people? Were they aware about our dish? How you call it, like cuisine? Is it Latvian cuisine or?
Yeah, Latvian cuisine. No. Some people have tried Russian food. Everyone knows borscht and everyone knows maybe pelmeni, dumplings, right? But no way, not many people knew. So, but I was,
I know. The funniest thing is that, I'm obviously myself now also living in UK for like last 6 years now, more or less. I met so many people from here or from all around the world. They kind of finding very weird what we're eating and how we're putting things together. They're like, you have so many pickle things. Why the heck you are putting sour cream on potatoes? What is this, But it's just different cuisines. Because for me, sometimes it's super weird what they are eating. I went to my boyfriend's parents' house. Hello, if they're listening. They all are English. And they were eating literally this crispy sandwiches. We're just like putting crisps on the sandwich and just eating them. But it's kind of their thing. And then like, how you call it, not the chicken, but turkey. Is it turkey?
Turkey, yeah.
Yeah, turkey. Yeah. They're putting in turkey cranberry sauce, things like that, which I'm finding super weird. But they finding very weird that I'm eating potatoes with sour cream. I'm making my potato pancakes.
Yeah, I mean, I have sour cream with everything, even now. Exactly. Like, it's a must. Well, I did so basically. So when I did the blog, right, I realized not many people were adventurous enough to try the Latvian food. So that's why I started supper clubs. So I did supper clubs for about 4 years. And a supper club is where, so basically it's like 10 random strangers come to my house and I cook them a Latvian Russian meal. And I used to basically do and host that every Friday and Saturday, and educate and also feed a lot of people. But it gave me so much satisfaction because people tried Latvian, Latvian and Russian food for the first time.
Love it.
And they were like, wow, this tastes amazing. And I'm like, I know. So that's how we're spreading our Latvian vibes.
So wait a second. So what is that, like a thing for people to do, or it was just like your idea? I'm gonna invite people to my house, and did you just give it that food them for free, or they were paid?
No. I was working. Yeah. No, it's like a pop up. They pay like whatever 20, 25 pounds for a meal. Bring their own alcohol, and they enjoy the 3 or 4, 6-course meal that I made.
That's so interesting. I never heard about it before. No,
it is a thing. You can find loads in London for any type of cuisine. But I became really popular in the platform that I was hosting. I was like the top host for the food and also the I guess the taste. You know, you
course,
can't
but you
just have
probably sold it with your smiley, amazing, positive face and energy. Everyone's like, yes, I want to go back to the girl.
Yeah, so and I think now people are more adventurous. Like I still do Russian Latvian food, but I have now specified more niche into baking, because cakes is another thing that I've realized I have passion to, designing, drawing them out, playing with flavors, combining, and then making it all happen.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that was inside of me. Again, this has all happened through my whole self-discovery journey, you know, throughout the years. And so now I have an online school, which is like a membership type of based school. And I have all my mostly Eastern European recipes in there, plus a couple of desserts and things like that. Mm-hmm. So, and it's at a very like low cost. So anyone can kind of come and join the membership and try all of the recipes. And then I have these like 12 and 10-week live courses with me where I coach my students. And we take you from no experience at making cakes to then graduating with like 2-tiered double cakes. Oh, sorry.
Don't worry. Oh, good. What is happening?
I think someone's trying to drill something upstairs.
Oh, really? I'm actually not hearing it that much. I just
okay.
A little.
Okay, good. It was really loud. So I was like, oh. So I'm teaching them, and now I have 2 courses that are officially out. It's like the mousse cake course, which is like beautiful glazes, and then the second course is like pastry and baking. So, and I completely take them, you know, from beginner, even if they're not beginner, all the way. And then, you know, my goal, and my goal is here now to teach these students to then sell these cakes, because the quality that they learn, everything that they do, so they can also have their own small home-based business, you know, because a lot of them are women, majority of them.
Yeah.
And a lot of them hate their jobs. And I'm like, this is where I've been. I'm kind of thinking that I'm hoping that I'm giving them an opportunity to become their own boss and work from home and do what they love, because most of them obviously like cooking and enjoy making cakes. And I have a lot of success stories already. So I've realized that this is what I'm doing now. Like this is where I'm going.
Oh my God, that's absolutely amazing. Like, you know, we recently tried to, not me actually, my boyfriend, we recently tried to bake a cake, actually 2 cakes for our birthdays. And is it like your...
Sorry, I was going to turn it off. Yes, okay. It's cold.
Mexico. So we baked some cakes, and I just saw him struggling, you know, how, not like struggling, but it was like I saw how much work it takes, you know, to bake the cake. And he was like, oh my God, now I understand why they're so expensive. You know, it just takes so much time and so much energy. But obviously it was one of his first times to do that. Like it takes loads of time, isn't it? For you, probably it's like cake, hello, 20 minutes. But it's still a lot, you know, which is so amazing. And I saw like so many beautiful videos and pictures, and it literally looks like a piece of art, you know, what you're doing. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I think you really nailed it there. You know, I started charging. So when I started offering my cakes in London about a couple of years ago, I had a set price. At first I started low, and then now my cakes are 80 to 100 pounds. Like that's the base. That's the starting point.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, how can you charge so much for a cake? And then you try and make this cake yourself, right? you know, it's like, I think people don't realize until it's like with any job, you know, waitressing, you know, like I used to work as a waitress. I know how much your feet hurt at the end of the day. You can't walk, how difficult it is. So, but then when you're in a restaurant, you don't think it's a big deal. It's like, well, that's your job. Like, that's not hard. Right. So it's like with anything, you know, even you doing podcasts, people might think, oh, you just sit here and you just record a video. No, there's just so much work that goes behind every single thing that you do. People don't value it unless they actually go and try it or try and repeat it, and they're like, oh, hang on, now I understand why this is the price, or, you know, things like that.
Exactly.
And one thing is, again, like, I don't know if anyone wants this advice, but for me, I didn't really value myself, my time, and my work before as much as I'm valuing it now. So I always underprice myself, and that's something to do with your, confidence issue, and maybe thinking like, well, comparing yourself to others, thinking like, well, they're doing cheap, so I should be doing cheap. And what I'm about to tell you is like, no, you should not go cheap just because everyone else is cheap. If you know what you're offering is good, if you know what you're doing is amazing, you should value yourself based on that, not everyone else, or kind of have that confidence in you,
Yeah, 100%. But do you have any advice how, like, is it just like, that's it, I'm like putting a better price for myself? Because it's like it's a weird thing. You're like, when you at beginning to do something, you're really struggling to price yourself, isn't it? You're like, well, but I'm just beginning, I'm just gonna ask £5 for that and that's it, but then you're struggling for ages, because it never becomes something big or professional, because you just don't earn money from it, don't you? So is that like a thing that you just need to push yourself against the wall and be like, no, I'm gonna charge fucking £80 for that, and that's it?
I think it depends obviously on the level you're at. So when I started for the first year, I was charging like maybe £40. Then I went on to 60. I think obviously if you don't know how to make something, you can't just charge a premium price. So I think it's more like gradually start increasing it based on your experience, and don't kind of get stuck. I think the reason why people can charge more money as well is because you're always investing back in yourself. You're learning more. You're maybe developing new skills, maybe offering new flavors, new designs. I'm just talking about the cakes here, right? So it's like the competition will always be there, and it was always back then. People are like, oh, but I don't want to start. Everyone's doing this. There is always competition. There's always will be. And it's more you need to think like, how can I stand out so people want to buy my product? What can I offer? What can I give more? How can I make it better and prettier and give more value to people so they don't even have to think where to go? And once your mindset changes to that, you don't care about competition because you know what you're offering is the best in the market. And if it's not, you're going to make it the best. Does that make sense?
Definitely. 100%. Absolutely loving it. You have so many things out there. Have you, like, if you can give us like an inner customer favorites, so like from Latvian or Russian cuisines, what do you see, like what people mostly like what is like, oh, this is amazing, or the biggest surprise, or maybe, oh, it's actually so delicious?
Yeah, actually, I completely forgot to say, I used to also host cooking classes through Airbnb experiences, in London, teaching Latvian and Russian food. Yeah, for years. Yeah. So I used to have people coming over from everywhere in the world and learning how to make our cuisine as well.
That's actually such a good idea.
Yeah, I might do it even here actually, because you can do it anywhere, I suppose, in the world, right? So the most things that people liked was obviously, piradzini, piroshki, all of that kind of
How
stuff.
You would call them in English? Is it like pies, little pies?
No, I used to call them piroshki.
Okay.
Piroshki, yeah, people knew. Then of course, like the dumplings, pelmeni, they were really popular with everybody, even borscht, everything. Like, to be honest, like any like Latvian, in Riga there's this place, it's like a pancake house, and you have like all these fillings. I always go there when I'm in Old Town.
Love it. Yeah.
So pancakes with different types of fillings, savory and sweet, because they're so unusual here. Like, you don't have cheese and ham inside a pancake. They're like, what? And they also call them crepes, and pancakes are different here. Pancakes are like fat, but in Latvia, I think we're using crepes, even though we call them pancakes. So there was a lot of confusion with that.
I can believe that.
Yeah, just all the types of soups, like meat dishes. Obviously in Latvia, pork is very quite traditional in a lot of the meats. Now in London, a lot of people don't eat pork, but people who did, they loved it. You know what I mean? So to be honest, everything. I haven't met anyone. The only, I would say, beetroot herring salad, I forgot in Latvian how it's called.
Is it shuba?
Shuba, yes. That was one dish where people either loved it or they hated it.
See that? So can you explain for our English listeners, like, what is shuba? So it's like a fish with beetroot.
Yeah. I will explain it in a very delicious way. So it's basically a very delicious layered salad. And it's layered with like grated carrots, which is everything is cooked. So grated carrots, then you have, chopped onion, potatoes, a bit of mayonnaise, herring, and then you have beetroot and egg. And it's kind of repeated into 3 or 2 layers. And you leave it overnight or a couple of hours to soak through, and it's just really tender, gentle, with a bit of saltiness and sweetness from the beetroot. It's actually really delicious.
It is. But it's the weirdest dish ever. If now, after, living in UK for a while, and I'm so used to what they eat, like I'm kind of now adapted to their culture, and I can say that sometimes like curry or jerk chicken is my favorite food, which never would be before, but with their mindset thinking about this dish, shuba, it's like, what the heck? It's mental. But oh my God, you're giving me inspiration. I definitely need to make it now.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think I also found that people that came to me to try the food or to the cooking classes, they were more adventurous people. So people that would have tried loads of other food as well. Because there is a certain type of people, especially in England, where they just know I'm going to eat my potato chips and my burger anywhere I go. And, it's like, I don't judge anyone, but, if you're traveling anywhere, if I see these people in McDonald's, I'm like, why are you eating there? Like, you're like in Spain or Italy. Like, so for me, it makes no sense.
Exactly. Yeah, same. But there is people like this, and it's mental. But I think it's just like, yeah, they're close-minded. They're just living in their little box, and that's what I want to do. So have you? What are like from desserts? Like, I don't know, what is our Latvian traditional dessert? What you would call it?
I think probably the rupmaizer. No, kā viņš saucās?
Brown bread.
Like that dessert, it's like bread pudding with like layered cream.
Rupmaizes kārtojums, I think.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I think that's kind of traditional in terms of sweetness, and then I suppose anything with cranberries. And I don't know, like I think some Latvian dishes, there's kind of few, the ones that are like really traditional, like pelēkie zirņi and, few bits. The rest is kind of a mix between Russia, Estonia, Lithuania, and it's like, I don't even know like how to define it. So that's why I usually call it like a Baltic food, because you can't even imagine the amount of hate I was getting when I was just starting. I would call dishes like, I remember this, to this day, I posted, borscht, and I said Russian borscht,
right?
Because I was trying to promote, my Russian Eastern European
of course.
And I wake up in the morning and I have 300 comments, and I was like, oh my God, the borscht went viral. I started reading the comments, and there is a full-on political debate about the fact that borscht is Ukrainian, not Russian, and how they all hate each other. And it was like literally insane. I think it wasn't even about borscht anymore, obviously. After,
of course it wasn't. Yeah.
It was just insane, and I realized even to this day, people are so crazy about if you call a dish from a different place, they go mental. I'm like, who cares? The point is, I'm giving you a recipe, like, to try, like, where it comes from, like, some people
that's so true. Yeah, I never thought of it that way, because me too. I'm just like, it comes from, like, I think as in Latvia, we kind of are so, used to, it's a normal thing for us. Like, I never grew up thinking that borscht is even like, I don't know, it comes from Ukraine or something. It's a Russian dish. That's it. That's Latvian, that's Russian. It's kind of easy. It doesn't matter, but I can see that some people could get political about it, especially if it goes Ukraine and Russia, Oof.
And once it's boiling, about 20 minutes before you're gonna serve it, just add your potatoes and your greens, and then squeeze a lemon juice. I'm using half a lemon. Mix everything together and just slow cook this for another 25 minutes or so. The soup will be beautiful, colorful, so healthy, amazing for your digestion. I absolutely love borscht. You can just serve it with a spoon of sour cream and some freshly chopped dill and just enjoy, guys. And it's a perfect autumn soup, or any occasion really. Traditionally, we mix it in together with sour cream and sometimes add mustard or horseradish.
Yeah. So after that, I just kind of name the dishes without countries now. It's just like, unless it's like definitely like a Latvian dish. We have a lot of rhubarb, so Latvian. And also, obviously, in Latvia, really traditional is the cottage cheese with the base. What is it called in I've got it in Russian. Like, those like squares, like cheesecake type of bites, but they're sold in every supermarket. Pirmais Latvietis or something like that.
Pirmais, the cottage cheese bread. That's how we could call
that
it.
does not sound. Yeah, I always call it cheesecake because people freak out when they hear cottage cheese.
I know.
Even though like
but isn't it crazy, because I'm such a big cottage cheese lover. I'm kind of eating it on daily basis, and people around me, including my boyfriend who's British, he's just like, why are you eating that, Signe? It's not healthy. I'm like, excuse me? Cottage cheese, the healthiest thing. And he's like, Signe, it's cheese. You're literally eating cheese every day. And this is how he sees it. And he's like, why the fuck you're eating cheese like crazy? I'm like, babe, that's not just a cheese. It's cottage cheese. It's the healthiest thing ever. I think we are mind-blowing loads of people with what we see, what is like, not even see, but, what we know about things and what they don't, maybe,
Yeah, and I think obviously Latvia is literally dairy and meat country. Like I had a friend who was vegan who came over, and I'm like, mate, don't even bother coming to Latvia because my family is just not good. It's just not gonna be. It's not gonna work. You can eat salad, but that's it. Like there's no options there. Like, you know what I mean? So obviously, I think now I was just recently in Latvia a few months ago in October, and I saw they have like a little vegan section in Rimi, which was like, wow, like Latvia is developing.
Oh, I didn't know that. I love it.
I bought some cakes because they had vegan honey cake, and it was disgusting. So I was like, no, never again. So yeah, I'll have to work on that recipe myself.
100%.
But yeah, I love cottage cheese. Like people who've never been to Latvia, if they go to the supermarket, we have a whole section of cottage cheese desserts, cottage cheese, everything, sweet and savory, like the whole section.
100%. Yeah, that's our thing. Cottage cheese, sour cream, wherever, however you want it, you will find it.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I also wanted to ask you like a question from business perspective, because when you go, from outsider view, like all I see is absolutely amazing, beautiful photos, videos, the way how you talk, the way how you dress. I think you're nailing it. Everything is so on point. Which is it's absolutely, it's a joy. It was such a joy to me, honestly, to say to you. That's why I really, really wanted to talk to you, because I was just like, this is unbelievable. I never saw anyone on this planet, someone who comes from Latvia, lives somewhere else, and so beautifully presenting our cuisine. Because I'm personally struggling to, trying to educate or presenting my Latvian cuisine, because every time when I'm cooking it, it kind of looks a bit disgusting. And I was like, because I'm not very good, at that. And then I was just like, I need to show your channel to everyone. And that's it. I'm selling Latvian food like this. People will know how amazing it is. And then I wanted to ask you, how are you doing it all? Do you have like a team, or are you actually doing it all yourself? Like, who is making all these videos? Who are making all these amazing photos? Are you doing it? Or who is writing all these blogs? Like, is it one person, or you have someone who's helping you?
Yeah, so up to this September, it was all me. So literally everything: videos, editing, photography, writing recipes.
You just mind-blowing me now.
Creating recipes.
What?
Absolutely everything. Marketing, website design, literally everything. I've done everything by myself for years. That's probably why I've been working 16 hours a day.
That's why you didn't have any years. Normal person's life. You just work. There you go. Love it.
Yeah. It is really tough. It takes a lot of time, and with every single year new social media platform coming out, it's really impossible to keep track. Like I tried to go on TikTok and keep up the trend. I just physically can't. Like
it's impossible. Yeah.
It's hard. Now from September, I hired my first VA, which is like a virtual assistant.
Wow.
And she's been helping me out, like, so not maybe with everything, but she's helping me out with like a bit of emails, a bit of this and a bit of that.
Right.
And now with my courses launching, I also have mentors that manage the courses, as you know, as I'm training them and they working with me. So, and now I also have a marketing team and an editor. So literally in the last 6 months, I grew from 0 help to now have 6 or 7 people. So it's all just crazy.
It's mental, yeah.
It's been a big change for me as well, because now I have to talk to everyone. So it's like, I thought it was going to get easier in the sense like, oh, I'll have more time. But now I have to talk to everyone, train them, then check everything. So I hope eventually it's going to get easier.
It will, of course it will.
But yeah, so it's you know, and I think when I was doing everything by myself, I always said like, oh, I just you know, I always kind of, and I know some people might feel the same way, and I'm not ashamed to say it, but I always thought like, you know, I would look at some blogger and I'd be like, oh, it's so much easier for them, they have a team, that's why they're doing so well, you know. And it's always like, I always in the back of my head, I was giving excuses to myself, like as into why I'm not making money, why is someone else more successful? Because they have a team, because they have a husband who films them, that's why.
Yes,
you know,
yes, I'm feeling you. I can see that. I'm the same.
Yeah, and you kind of get trapped, and actually that's like the worst type of thought to have, because it always seems easier on the other side. And now that I have a team, I realize nothing's just like, yes, it's still just as hard as before. It's just easier in a sense that I can dedicate more time to maybe other projects. But the point is that, you know, don't compare yourself and don't use it as an excuse to stop you. I think I've realized this about a year ago, because I was kind of still for some reason hoping someone's going to notice me and I'm just going to get all this team and everything's going to be easy, and you know, I don't need to learn anything. But every time it's like, I've now realized it's probably more of a gift, you know, like I had to learn a new platform, how to use this, how to create a website, how to edit the video. And every year there's something new. You know, you think at some point it's going to be like, I know everything now, like what else is there to learn? And then things happen. You know, the platform that I've built like, you know, 2 years ago, it's all changing, so I have to learn it all again. And it's like, oh my God. So you're never comfortable in your own business, you never will be. And that's what I realized, you never gonna get reach a level where you're just comfortable chilling there on the beach doing nothing.
Exactly. It's
sorry
mental.
to break the dream bubble.
It's true, Alla. And even, you know, it's the most inspiring thing to talk to you, you know, just knowing your backstory and everything, how you get there. But the funniest part is that literally today, because I was just chilling and doing my home thing, I was listening podcast with Paris Hilton. There is like a new podcast with Whitney Cumming and with Paris Hilton, and I was just like listening to her. And what was interesting, that even she, who's like coming from billionaire family, she's working 24/7, and she's like, I cannot, there's no other way for me, you know. And obviously she can chill, she's so rich that she can chill if she wants to, but the responsibilities she's having, you know, all the businesses, all the careers she's having, and there are multiple, you know, she's just like, I have to be there constantly. And it's crazy to hear from someone who is so rich that even they need to work their ass off to just keep rolling. And then, you know, we normal human beings, mortals, it's just it's amazing.
Trying.
Yeah,
I think, you know, sorry, I'm just gonna move.
No worries, I'm just gonna double check time and probably need to give you a space soon, because Alla is running away soon.
I think the challenges are just different for me personally. Like, you know, struggling to pay rent for years and just having that insecurity was my biggest stress, I suppose. And so to reach a point when you know that you can pay your rent, like personally for me, and you can, you know, not worry about money, like what to buy for whatever. If you want salmon, you can buy salmon, you know what I mean, like, right? Of that course. Kind of mentality. That was what I was striving for. So yes, of course, when you reach that point that you don't have to stress about money, let's say about, basic stuff, you do feel mentally easier because you're not, you're not like constantly like thinking like, oh my God. So it does get easier, and it's definitely better, and the work is more enjoyable because you feel less stressed. But it does take time, and I think for me personally, I don't want to work 16-hour days anymore. I'm 33. I do want to have a life eventually. And now I'm in Mexico, and I'm slowing down here a little bit, and my goal is to eventually, why am I working so much and trying, because eventually I'm trying to reach the lifestyle that I want, where I will be working only 4 to 6 hours a day, and the rest of the time I want to invest into courses, study more, I don't know, maybe learn a new skill and focus on my health and well-being. So that's kind of my whole idea of why am I doing this. So that's what's important to me.
100%.
Yeah.
I love it. So give us a little shout. What exactly you're doing in Mexico, and how come you decided to move there? Like, is it COVID?
Yes, you can say it. Well, I was planning to move to Spain. That was my goal, because I think I've been in England for 18 years. I think obviously 14 out of them were pretty much in London within like, a few years, Latvia, Thailand, whatever. I just grew out of the city in a sense that, it is still expensive. It's not the life quality that I want. Even if I was making loads of money, I did actually calculations, and I would advise anyone to do this. It's a really good exercise to literally count how much money you would need to have a really good, comfortable life for you. Because for everyone else, it's, like you might want to travel 20 times a year. Someone else might want to eat an expensive restaurant every day, so everyone has different baseline, but like without being ridiculous. So I calculated how much money I need to have the lifestyle that I want, right? Going out, having a massage, having a personal trainer, and it came to £10,000 a month. No exaggeration.
Wow.
Right? And
Here
this
we
is
go.
without being like, crazy. This is like, doing a facial, as women, we
of
have
course.
a lot more expenses, right?
Sure.
And I was like, hang on a second, that's a lot of money. And then you compare it to Thailand, Asia, Spain, I don't know, even Latvia, that goes to like 2,000. So the difference is like massive, you know what I mean? So for me to have the lifestyle that I want, I could potentially just live somewhere else, get that lifestyle, have better weather, better food, and live the life that I actually want. So my goal was to move to Spain. And I really wanted to live by the sea. So that was my dream. And I want to have sun, after being 18 years in England, I was kind of like, okay, it's raining again.
Now. I feel you.
Yeah. And obviously I couldn't leave because of COVID, and the whole world, stopped. And the rules were getting more and more strict, and I think I'm so overworked in the last year. I launched 2 courses, and I was literally working 7 days a week, again, like literally 20 hours a day. Like, I'm not even joking. I burned myself out so much. I again got into this like really unhealthy body. Like, I gained actually about 20 kilos since like 5 years ago, and in the last probably year I gained 10. So like a lot of changes happened with me, and mentally, like, just wasn't feeling good at all. Like, I felt that like I'm losing it. Like, it was just, I couldn't do anything. You can't, like, didn't want to exercise anymore. When you get into that unhealthy state, people are like, oh, just go and exercise. I don't want to exercise. I just want to lie here and eat my chips and my dessert. So I just needed to get out. And so the only place I could move to or leave UK, I didn't care. It was either Dubai or Mexico. These were the only open countries. Yeah, the only open countries that would take UK citizens, or like, I'm not a UK citizen,
I didn't know that.
From UK.
Wow.
Yeah, UK is banned from every single country in the world, pretty much. You cannot go anywhere. I mean, Latvia maybe if you're a citizen.
Yeah.
Without like a really valid reason, right?
Sure.
But to be honest, like Spain, they were like, no, we're not taking like UKs, we don't want them.
Wow.
So I couldn't move to Spain. So I was like, right, Mexico, there I go.
Love it.
So I've been here 5 weeks. I'm already so much happier. I just love the weather. I'm walking on the beach every morning. I have gotten what I wanted to. It's cheaper here, some things, not everything. So it's still a bit tricky for me. I haven't figured. I'm still living in a hotel. I'm trying to find accommodation.
Suitcases all around you.
Exactly, and it's challenging. I don't know anyone here, but because I've done it so many times, I suppose, and I moved, I don't know, like, it's not that scary for me. It's more that it's uncomfortable, yes, and it's annoying, and it's just still a bit stressful. But I know that, after a while we'll be okay. So I decided I'm going to stay here for a while, definitely 3 to 4 months. And if Europe and the world doesn't get back to normal, because here as well, why I also wanted to go here, like a full-on normal life is here. Everything's open. You can go to the beach, you can go to a party, you can go to a club, you can go to a restaurant, you can go to the gym.
How? I mean, obviously every country is handling this differently, but obviously UK is absolutely a crazy prison and all that stuff. I kind of can understand, because maybe in UK there's so many people, so many, so much going on, but still it's interesting. And I kind of think that maybe the way is actually to people go out, be healthy, do their thing, and let the virus naturally,
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say the same, but I guess my opinion is not that popular. I just feel like, I think because we're from Latvia, naturally, like, we're so exposed to germs, and like from a young age, I was rolling in dirt, eating crap, like, like our immune system is probably much stronger in general. But I also had COVID already, like in March back last year. So
really,
yeah, like it wasn't even as bad as me having like a flu or like anything, and all my friends had COVID, and everyone I know had COVID, and everyone's fine. It's literally just a little flu illness, right? But I don't want to go into a COVID discussion, because people are feeling very strongly about it. It's like two sides of realized, and so for me personally, I felt so trapped in London. I couldn't breathe anymore. And like, when I started feeling this, it's like, I need to get out. So I made all the documents. I made fake document stuff, like, that I'm gonna work in here just in case, because you had to prove that you need to work somewhere.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, do you need to have like a visa or anything in Mexico?
No, so Mexico opened their borders now for everyone. You can live here for 180 days, visa free.
Okay, amazing.
If you're from, yeah. And like, it's just the fact that here it's like back to normal life. It's just like, I forgot what it's like you wouldn't believe 1 year living in a cage like we are now, and you guys probably are still if you're not in Mexico.
Hello.
It's really damaging for mental health.
It
like
is.
All of my friends are suffering. Everyone's like losing it. I was crying every day. I honestly felt like I'm going mad, and I just think that's going to be much worse than going outside and catching COVID and potentially. And I also just don't understand.
Yeah.
So
I absolutely am with you. For a little inside information, like, what is the life expenses there? Like, how much you need to more or less pay for a rent there, and how much you need money to live there?
Yeah, it's a good question. So the accommodation has been the hardest part. Again, it's very expensive here for accommodation, but I think it's because of touristic stuff. So I'm looking now to find a flat within £500 budget.
Okay.
So £500, 5 minutes to the beach, close to the center, has like, amenities. That's like a 1-bedroom studio type of thing. If you want like a 2-bedroom, that's like £800-900. But again, I think it's very close to London prices. So if I had someone here, it'd be better. I could get a better thing.
Sure.
Food wise, it varies. Much cheap. You can go and get tacos for $1.
And amazing fruits and veggies. Just I love it.
Yeah. Like fruit is really cheap. So in supermarkets, like fresh papaya, mango, pineapples, like 60 pence. It's not even a pound. It's like the whole thing. Like, so I think in terms of like, I have here a personal trainer, which cost me £15 an hour, which is, you can't get that in England, right? It's minimum 60-70 pounds. I have meals cooked for me now 3 times a day because I'm living in a hotel, so that's why I'm doing it. It's just like I'm getting massages like twice a week. Again, they're £10 for massage.
Stop
So
it!
like in London, in London it's like 17, £90. And I used to treat myself once a month. Here, I'm getting 2 massages a week because that's what's important to me, right? Food, massages, trainer, and so,
Beautiful.
so it is definitely lower. So I think if you wanted to live like a really high-end lifestyle, like, have a trainer, food, whatever, massages, it would be from, £1,000 to £2,000 a month. So it's not actually comparing to London, obviously comparing to other places in the world, it is still expensive, I think. But
of course. But you know what? I think what is amazing and so inspiring also about you and your business is that you kind of can do it online, don't you? And live wherever you want to live. That's the dream. I love it.
Yeah, I think that was my biggest motivation as well. And that's my dream. I value my freedom so much. And that's why obviously I'm here as well. Like, I just want to be free. I think no matter what's happening, like, freedom is the most important thing, right? No one should take that away from you in a way. Mm-hmm. But with my job, I can live anywhere in the world as long as I have a kitchen and internet and I can teach students and I can develop recipes. That's pretty much all I need. And I think a lot of people can do the jobs online now. And, even the girls that are working for me now, I said, look, you can live anywhere because it doesn't matter. Like, and so even if you don't have your own business, because, it's not that easy to start your own business online. It takes years. But if you're in a position where you're thinking like, I would love to maybe travel the world and live anywhere, find somebody who you can work for who already has a successful business and work with them. Be amazing, because it's really hard for me personally to find amazing people that I can trust, that work really well. And if I do find them, then, I really value them and I would give anything. I'd fly them over. I'd be like, come over to Mexico. Like, I don't care, so that's kind of the advice I would give to people.
Oh, I agree. I love it. Oh my God, Alla, I cannot wait for your Mexico videos already. They just gotta blow my mind already. Are you planning to do some Mexican recipes, or it's just gonna stay with your European ones?
I might do. I might take some cooking classes here because like it's, even though I'm a qualified chef, when you're in a different country, I want to learn from the best. So I always invest into studying myself. Like, I still study every year. I get a lot of courses from French pastry chefs, from all, because you can't just think everything, because you don't, right? So I might do some cooking lessons, and then I was thinking about doing a free like a live show and teach maybe something traditional like tacos or like something, I don't know, Mexican.
Arriba! Mexico!
Exactly. But you know what I like about here as well? People are always smiling here. And I know it's probably a touristic town, but it doesn't matter. It's just everyone's like, hello. You walk on the street, they're like, good morning. And I'm like, oh, hello. It's so weird. So people are just happier.
And they probably speak Spanish, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Do you
don't speak Spanish?
You don't you?
No, so I am planning to start learning Spanish, hopefully in like next week or week after that, once I find accommodation. Just because it would make it easier for me, and also I want to learn a new language. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. So you live exactly like in Mexico City?
No, so I live in Playa del Carmen, which is like by the beach. It's like really kind of happy, lots of music every day, like lots of people. It's
exactly
like
what we need now.
So it's just I have literally felt so much better here already. Like, it took me about 2 weeks because London was just like whoa, and here it's like slowing down, and I'm hoping in another month I'll be in a completely different mental space as well, like feeling more relaxed and happy.
Oh, 100%. And you will. Look, so
Yeah.
everyone who's listening now, I'm gonna put some links underneath here so you all go to her pages and see yourself, because I'm already the dreamland we had, because I watched one of your videos. You were talking like about why you moved to Mexico just a bit, just to get to know a bit better. And then I saw some Instagram posts with you just in the beach, blue sky, blue water, cocktail in a hand, everything is good. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Well, Alla, thank you so much for this conversation. I will let you go. However, my very, very last question, which I ask absolutely to all my guests, is that what does success means to you personally?
You know what? It's a really good question. I think before I would say money would be a success. But now I think success means to me my peace of mind and the state how I'm feeling. Because if I'm feeling calm and I'm feeling good inside, that means I'm successful for me now. Does that make sense?
100%.
No.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I realized kind of nothing's more important than the way you feel and how your health is. And it started to cross for me towards like getting worse with my health, which I'm still struggling. But, I realized that that's kind of what success is in any sort of sense, being happy and healthy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think you're doing very, very well.
Well, I'm trying, but not so good with my health yet, but I'm trying. I'm getting back to it. I'm feeling good,
Of course, you're in an amazing place and you have personal trainer. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hot.
It's actually a lady, and
No!
yeah.
Why?
I should have gone for a guy. You know what? I was gonna go for a guy, but she just attracted me with her personality, and she was smiling and she was happy. And she's also from Russia, but she's married to a Mexican guy, and she lived in China. So she's also has crazy story.
Love
and
it.
So yeah, we just got on, and I just feel comfortable. And I'm like, okay, when I get super hot, then I'm gonna get a hot trainer.
That's a good formula. I love it. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, Alla, thank you so much. And speak to you very soon, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alla. Bye-bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
Hi guys, всем привет, Latvian. Welcome to my channel, AllasYummyFood. Today I decided to make a recipe that has been requested by a huge Latvian audience of mine. Of course I'm from Latvia, so I'm Latvian, and this recipe is very traditional. And you know how much I love cheese, so this is traditional and it has cheese. So I'm super excited. I hope you're as excited as I am, because today I'll show you how to make our traditional Jāņu siers. And Jāņu siers, it's a person's name, which is really popular name, by the way, Jānis. And siers is cheese. In Russian you say syr. So here you go, you've got two languages how to say cheese. And it's served obviously all year round, but we traditionally have it on Ligo, which is a traditional national holiday. We have fires, we have like flower, I don't know what they're called in English, like flower things around your hair. We've got cheese and beer, and it's a really, really amazing holiday. And guys, make sure you subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and leave the comment down below what is your favorite cheese.